The following is a special presentation of KDOW. Money Pulse. Monitoring the heartbeat of money. From Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet. Now here's your host, Dynasti E Young.
Welcome to the Money Pulse. This is Dynasti, your host, and I am joined today with Carl Worden from Defer Tax. I just want to say thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're really excited about all the things you're going to share with us today, and there's not enough time to share everything I want you to share. But we are talking about defertax.com. That's DEFER tax, TAX. We all know those, .com. This man has a lot of experience that I'd like him to speak to first. We're going to talk a lot about why people are spending unnecessarily in this space. And he's going to be the man to really just open up your eyes. So if you're tuning in, you're a real estate investor, business owner, maybe you're part of those people that are going to be in the next chapter of your retirement life and selling your business, you want to listen to this information. This is going to be so valuable to you. So Carl Worden, will you please just kind of tell us about your background? How did you get here? What brought you to this space of deferring taxes and just tax in general?
Yeah, so very early on, I discovered I didn't want to work for somebody else because, somebody else tells you what to do.
Nobody likes that, right?
Yeah, right. So I read a book on real estate investing. And
you wrote a book on?
Read a book.
Oh, I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I read a book on real estate investing, and that prompted me to start saving aggressively as much as I could way back when, which wasn't much per week, but ended up, massing that into something where I was able to invest in property. And made it a goal to own 3 properties by the time I was 30. I achieved that goal.
You did?
The 3 properties were in California.
Wow.
So it's very doable. Even today, there's even more ways to make money than there was when I was,
So stop making excuses, people.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me started there.
I won't.
Anyway,
but
long story short, the real estate was appreciating, and I was like, oh, how the heck am I going to do this? Well, I heard about a tax strategy called the 1031 exchange. And so I ended up using it. In fact, to date, I've used it 19 times using a 1031 exchange to move assets from one to another. In 1999, I actually got into the financial world. And I did so because I figured, hey, I've achieved some level of wealth by the time I was 30. We had, 6 properties, and so I was like, hey, maybe I can be a good coach or a good teacher for other people, right?
Yeah.
And so I got into the financial world, and that was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a lot of competition out there as an advisor. In fact, there's 330,000 financial advisors out there.
Is that all?
And yeah, that's it. And so I found myself trying to create this niche, and how to differentiate myself from the others.
Right.
And 2007 rolls around, and I start looking at my book, and I'm like, it started to resonate with me. I'm doing way better than my clients. Some of my clients are much older than me at the time, and I'm like, I'm doing financially way better. Where's it? How are these people going to retire? The average retirement account was not enough to last 20 to 30 years in retirement. That's the same today, especially for the boomers. 80% of them don't have enough.
That's scary.
And in cash. But here's the thing. The same number, 80%, actually own a primary residence, second home, investment property, business, or all of the above. Their wealth is not in IRAs and 401ks. It's in hard assets that Uncle Sam says, yeah, you worked 30, 40, 50 years of your life, pay me half or 30% or 40%.
What a good guy.
Right? And so I figured this out in 2007, and I thought,
you had this light bulb.
There's got to be a way, yeah. And 2009 rolls around, I find out about another tax strategy that allows people to sell primary residence, second home, investment property, business, or all of the above, crypto, artwork, cars, things of that nature, and pay no taxes legally. Defer it.
Right. That's the right word. Defer the taxes.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
At the time, it was strictly deferral.
Okay.
Well, what that's morphed into now is a company that I run where we have 20 strategies on the platform for tax deferral, minimization, and elimination. Yes, elimination. We can actually eliminate taxes.
You can eliminate taxes.
Eliminate taxes.
At defertax.com is where people can find this information. Okay, go on.
So anyway, these strategies can be used individually or in combination with each other. And we're now using these strategies to help folks that have been working, like I said, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their lives.
Their whole lives, yeah.
Trying to amass wealth and not just give it away to Uncle Sam. Actually legally be able to keep it. And I know initially some people are probably listening and go, well, there's nothing wrong with paying taxes, right?
Right. They're important. There's a place.
Well, taxes are very necessary.
Yeah.
In fact, it's actually a sign of success, right? You're paying taxes. But it's pretty stupid to pay taxes
if you don't have to.
If there's legal ways for you not to have to pay the tax. Then it's pretty stupid.
Absolutely.
And the government... I wrestle with this because at one point I say the government's smart, but then the government's stupid in terms of how they structure things.
Depends, yeah.
The government's smart in terms of the way they structure the tax code is they're trying to incentivize you to do, one of three things. Number one, get married. Number two, have kids. Number three, run a business. Actually, four things. And number four, buy real estate.
Sounds about right.
And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? So why is getting married so important for the country, and why do they give tax benefits for doing it? Because two people working together to achieve a goal is far stronger, not twice as strong, 100 times stronger, right?
Right.
To achieve the goal, it's 100 times better. Okay? So you're incentivizing people to have marriage and good
partnerships,
marriage, ideally.
Yeah.
Right? Having kids, why is that so important for our country? Pretty stupid question. More kids, more taxpayers, right? Number three, run a business. Well, why is that so important? Well, you're running a business. You're hiring people, right? You're paying other people. More taxes are generated.
Stimulation of that economy.
Right? Buying real estate. Why is that so important? Well, when you're investing in your country, right? That's a very healthy thing for the country. So the government gives you significant tax advantages for doing all four. And really the question is, how do you understand how to use the various different tax strategies? Wealthy people, wealthy country, right? So now this is where I say the government's stupid. The government's stupid because they don't actually educate people. Yeah, right, I know.
Right. Sorry, guys. but we have a solution for that later.
Yeah, but this is where I say I have a problem with the government because really they should actually
provide those tools.
Provide a lot more education about tax strategies.
Yeah, we didn't learn this in school.
No. Well, we'll think of it this way. What generates taxes?
I don't want to answer wrong.
It's okay. Transactions.
Yeah, I was like spending money.
Transactions generate taxes, right?
Right.
48% of the nation's wealth is held by what generation? The baby boomers.
Right.
48%.
That's a true number.
What do they not want to pay?
Taxes. Nobody does.
They don't want to pay taxes.
They know, yeah.
So so if they die owning the asset, then there's a step up in basis and no taxes are paid, right? Right? So how does the government win if there's no taxes paid? What did I say? Transactions generate taxes.
Right.
So if we can actually educate the masses on how to reduce, defer, or eliminate taxes, transactions happen and taxes are generated.
Regardless. Yeah, okay. Right? I see where you're going with this.
And here's the best part. Like, if we defer the taxes, think of it this way. If a piece of real estate, right? If I bought a property for $200,000, right, and
I wish
35 years later, it's now worth $2.5 million. Not uncommon.
Right. No, that's very common. Yeah.
And I'm going to have to pay $800,000 in taxes if I'm going to sell it. Am I going to be really motivated to sell that property?
That sucks.
Right. Well, so who doesn't get paid if I don't sell? The real estate agent, the real estate agent's broker,
right? Everybody
the title
involved,
company, escrow officer. All these people don't get paid. Painting, staging companies, yard people,
everything that makes
people,
that wheelhouse
all these
go
people
around.
The transaction fuels all these transactions. But if I'm afraid of paying taxes, that doesn't happen, and none of those people get paid.
And then we just die not selling it.
Yeah, but if the government comes in and says, "Look, we're going to start providing education and teaching people how they can legally sell the asset." And pay no tax at the point of sale, guess what? We do that. We create all those transactions. All the taxes are generated, and the taxes are deferred. They're still owed. My gosh, yeah. Yeah, so how powerful is that?
That is
for
powerful.
The government actually to step in and say, let's actually start educating people about some of these strategies.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, yeah, okay. So, and we're going to go to a commercial break soon here, but you do have some learning material and resources on your website at defertax.com. Again, DEFER tax.com. there's a university button. We have, a minute or so before we go to our commercial break, but will you tell us like what we can find there or who is it for?
So the website is really kind of, I put it together. I wrote the script for a lot of the videos you'll see on there.
Okay.
And what they do is they give kind of a 30,000 foot level view of the tax strategy and how it works.
Of one of the 20.
Yeah, we're trying to essentially educate a fifth grader rather.
Yes, please.
How to understand it at a basic level.
Yeah.
Which was me when I first started in the business. I didn't understand all this stuff.
Right.
So now I just basically have, various different videos on there you can watch. You're not going to understand or know how to put strategies together. But when a client calls us, we're educating them about the various different options. And we say, go to the website just to kind of, if a particular strategy is kind of
hear the story.
Yeah. Go here and watch the video now. So I'm educating you, and now I'm kind of visually and audio, educating you about the strategy.
So I need things spelled out, said out loud, all of those things. So go. If you guys want to call Carl, you could give him a call. I mean, he's very accessible. He's happy to consult with you over the phone at 408-261 Carl. Love that 408-261-2275, which spells out Carl. It's fun. Or you can email him at carl@defertax.com, or just go visit their website, check it out. We're going to go to a commercial break here in just a moment. Stay tuned because, who doesn't want to save all this money? And I don't want to pay $800,000 in a transaction. Thank you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Carl Worden of Defer Tax.
Money Pulse, KDOW's financial news magazine, monitoring the heartbeat of money from Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet. You're listening to Money Pulse on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Money Pulse. This is Dynasti E Young, your host. If you're just tuning in, you're in for a good one. I'm here with Carl Worden, the founder, CEO of defertax.com. Defertax.com, eliminatetax.com almost, but yeah, that's not it. Defertax.com. We're getting into the nitty gritty here. He's got some strategies that are not baloney strategies. These are real legal ways to not have to pay an arm and a leg for a transaction.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have him take it away. Let's focus in now, Carl. If you could talk to us about primary residence, how you can help these people and the owners and sellers, et cetera. Take it away.
Yeah, it's actually fortuitous that we're having this conversation today because I literally just met with a client down in Los Gatos at their home. They've been a client of mine for 10 years, and now they're thinking about selling their primary residence.
They're so lucky to have had you for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I've saved them a lot of money in taxes.
Yeah, I'm
anyway.
sure. We got to talk to them.
Yep. So they bought a property in Los Gatos for $995,000 many years ago.
Imagine, yeah.
And today it's worth, who knows what, over $3 million.
10, yeah,
they think
crazy.
$3 million. I'm like, I think it's worth more. But anyway, so they're trying to figure out, like, how can they sell it and pay no tax, because it's a primary residence, which means that if you live in it for 2 out of the last 5 years,
that's
each individual gets what's called a 121 exclusion, and everybody knows it as the $250,000 exemption, or if you're married, $500,000. So hypothetically, you buy a house for $995,000, you can add the other $500,000 on top of that if you're married and you lived in it for 2 out of 5 years. So now you're at 1.495.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something else you can add to it is something called capital improvements. Capital improvements are things like roof, room addition, garage addition, kitchen, bathroom renovation, complete renovation.
Right, which they've done
floors,
for 10
windows,
years.
pool. I could go on.
Right.
And they've put about $300,000 into it. So they're sitting on, call it $1.3 million of basis. Right, and the property cost basis, or purchase price plus capital improvements.
Right.
So if they sold it for, technically if they sold it for $1.8 million because it's the $500,000 exemption, they'd pay no taxes.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the house is worth $3 million.
It's definitely more.
So they got a $1.2 million capital gain there. State of California is as high as 14.1. Right, tiered rate.
Mm-hmm.
Feds are at 0, 15, and 20.
Mm-hmm.
Again, tiered. Obamacare kicks in. A lot of people don't take that one into account. That's 3.8%.
Mm-hmm.
So you could lose 30% of your 1.2 million easily,
right off the top,
and it gets added to your income for the year too. So that could take you into a whole other tax bracket of 40 to 50%. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't even think of that part. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a big one.
So you could find yourself having to pay a lot of taxes, which again, going back to something we said earlier, is the reason why people don't sell. So the real estate agent doesn't get paid, the broker doesn't get paid, all these people don't get paid.
Right. No.
So
movement.
they bring me in. And so one of the strategies that came up, currently they owe $450,000 on the property. So really, if you take 450 from 1.3, I know I'm getting off on the numbers here.
That's
I'm going to
okay.
screw people up, but that's $850,000.
Right.
We have a way of actually extracting that out of the house in advance of the sale and then capturing all the rest of it in a trust. And they will pay no taxes on the entire transaction.
Okay, could you repeat that really quick, please, one more time?
Yeah, so on a primary residence, if you don't want to pay the tax, I have options. Okay. But the long story short for this client is we can literally get them the difference between their debt and their basis out tax-free in advance of the sale. And then at the point of sale, capture the remainder, which is roughly $1.7 million, totally tax deferred. They'll pay no taxes on it. The $500,000 exemption is still there. It's actually ends up getting captured in the trust. I'm not going to go into detail why right now, but the long story short is I just showed them today how they can sell the house at $3 million with a $1.3 million basis and pay no taxes.
Wow.
Very doable. Very doable. I do it all the time. I move a lot of people out of California.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So, if you need, I suggest you call Carl. Like, if you have any of these things, I'm sure you're sparked this interest. It's mind blowing. I've been doing some research on it, and this is legit. This isn't a scam. This isn't baloney. This is like a very educated man who comes from a space of real estate, finance. He's got the experience. He's living it. He's doing this. He just did it today in Los Gatos. Give him a call, 408-261-CARL with a C, and that's 408-261-2275. Or you could just look him up, defertax.com. There's a lot of good information. There's actually a video of you and one of the Shark Tank people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who is that? What is
Kevin
that video?
Harrington.
Yeah.
Kevin Harrington, yeah.
Very interesting. How did you get involved with him?
He interviews companies and he decides which ones he wants to work with to market.
Yeah.
And so he interviewed us. They liked what we did.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy.
He's a tough
really
cookie
nice
too.
guy.
So you got to be doing something good. So if you know anything about that guy, he doesn't just like anybody. He actually doesn't like a lot of people.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So we talked about primary residence. So what about the other residents that we have, like our investment properties or secondaries?
Well, so I'm actually going to kind of combine the two because in reality, your primary residence can become an investment property.
Okay.
And then you can sell it and extract your $500,000 exemption at the point of sale and 1031 exchange the rest.
Okay. Talk to me more. Tell me more, Carl.
So this is interesting.
Okay.
So this is another strategy. This is going to get a little heady.
Okay. Everybody pay attention.
Yeah. So basically, if they were to turn around and let's say, March next year, they're not going to do it before the end of the year. They rent the house out.
Okay.
Many CPAs would agree that if you keep it rented and for a year, right, get it on 2 tax returns as a
rental property,
as a classified rental property, that you can then 1031 exchange it. You could sell it as an investment property and do a 1031 exchange. Okay. Well, here's the fun part. When you sell the property, and could you still say that you lived in it for 2 out of the last 5 years? And the answer is yes. So guess what you can do? You can actually pull your $500,000 exemption out tax-free and 1031 exchange the rest. So you sold for, let's say you sell for a net $3 million. So you pull $500,000 out. The exchange accommodator captures the remaining $2.5 million of sale price, right? And your 1031 exchange requirement would be to then go out and purchase $2.5 million of real estate because you took the $500,000 exemption and did what you wanted. So that's kind of a way to get out of your primary and not have to pay the tax. But we can take it a step further, because what if we actually 1031 exchange that into a Delaware statutory trust? A Delaware statutory trust is actually a real estate investment vehicle. I'm not going to go into details on it because of time. But basically, you can get into like an Amazon fulfillment center, one of those 3 to 5 million square feet buildings. Right now, there's a FedEx building available right now. You could actually 1031 exchange into that, and Amazon's your tenant. FedEx is your tenant, right?
Amazing.
So they take their $2.5 million and exchange into it. Okay. And guess what? 30 days later, you get an opportunity to participate in a refinance. So assuming you check the box yes, and everybody does.
Right.
What's 85% of $2.5 million?
Whew.
A little over $2 million.
That's a big one.
And that enters your bank account tax-free. So again,
wow.
Again, where somebody's sitting on a primary residence and saying, oh, my God, I got this huge capital gain.
Right.
No, you don't. And there's legal ways for you to get out from underneath it. So, and this is applicable to just regular investment property. Let's say you bought an investment property for whatever, call it $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? 100 years ago. And now it's worth $2 million, $5 million. Well, we can do a 1031 exchange where you can exchange that money into this type of property and get you 85% of your equity out, up to 85% of your equity out tax-free.
Wow, that
By
is
the way,
huge.
The other 15% that you left behind in the deal is an ownership interest in a percentage share ownership of the property. So you don't pay any taxes and you don't leave any money behind.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you've done this many times too. This is something.
I've been doing this for quite a while.
This is your wheelhouse.
Yep. Well, not only that, I do it myself. So
because you're living it. Like
I'm not
I said.
smart in a lot of areas, but for some reason, God gifted me with this one. So there you go.
Thank you for being here. Please give us all the knowledge because this is $1 million conversation right now. Just
definitely
piece of totally. So, okay. So we've talked about residents. What else you got for me? What other tricks do you have up your sleeve before we have to say goodbye?
So there's a lot of high income earners listening in on the call.
Yes, of course.
Okay. If you go to the National Registry of Historic Places, you'll find buildings on there that the government is actually giving tax advantages for saving. Everybody's been into a large downtown area and seen like this.
The historical building.
Yeah, obviously an old building and there's skyscrapers all around it.
Right.
That's a historic building. It's protected.
Right.
It's probably on the National Registry.
Okay. Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, so we have a company that basically goes out and finds properties like this. And what they'll do is they'll buy it and they'll get a predetermined value if they were to scrape it and build a 40-story skyscraper or whatever, something bigger, larger, newer, right?
Yeah.
And so let's say they bought it for, $10 million. And the future value of this new building could be $50 million or more, whatever.
Right.
Doesn't matter. The bottom line is the future value you can actually take as a write-off. So you can actually, in that case, you could theoretically get a 4-to-1 write-off or a 5-to-1 write-off if you follow my numbers.
That is the greatest life hack ever, maybe. I don't know.
This is in the tax code, IRC 170H. I'm not making this stuff up.
No.
So this company, what they do is they go in, they buy the property, and then they won't take the 4-to-1 to 5-to-1 write-off because in the omnibus bill, the IRS kind of put a line in the sand and said 2.5-to-1 or higher, we're going to audit you.
Okay.
Anything below that, we won't.
Nobody wants to be audited.
So this company keeps everything below.
Right.
But let's put this in perspective. Let's say you made $1 million this year. Capital gains, income, doesn't matter, both. And you can extrapolate if you made $500,000, cut my numbers in half. But the long and the short of it is you can invest in this deal, right? If you made $1 million, you're in a 40% tax bracket, likely, or higher.
Right.
Let's just say 40%. You lose $400,000 of taxes. You could donate up to half your income, but you still have to pay taxes on the other half.
Right.
That's not pretty. But with this strategy, if it's a 2.5-to-1 write-off or a 2-to-1 write-off, doesn't matter. Let's just say 2.5 to make our life easy today. What does that mean? That means I can invest $200,000. 200,000 times 2.5 is 500,000. I'm actually picking up a $500,000 write-off for my $200,000 investment. Okay.
Wow.
Now I still have to pay taxes on the remaining 500, which is still 40% or 200. But at the end of the day, instead of making $1 million and writing a check to Uncle Sam for $400,000, I can actually take half your tax liability and put it into an income-producing asset that you keep. Because when you put the $200,000 in, you actually get cash flow on it. And there's an opportunity to get the money back after 5 to 7 years when they sell it. I obviously don't have time to cover it.
Right, I know. And we're at the end of our time together already. I'm so bummed.
I tried to talk as fast as I could.
You are very clear. I appreciate you. And we're going to maybe have a continued time together because this was just very valuable. Carl, thank you so much. If you want to learn more, go to defertax.com. I mean, we just barely got into this and you guys have heard millions of dollars of savings, investments, revenue generating amazingness coming from this man, Carl. Look into defertax.com, email him, Carl@defertax.com, or call him. He will pick up his phone, 408-261-CARL or 2275. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
This has been Money Pulse, KDOW's financial news magazine, monitoring the heartbeat of money from Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet.